Yo, what's Glorb and Glorbies? Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind recently, and that is the things that I wish I had known in college um, that I didn't know. So, one of those things is that in I was a kid in high school that worked very hard to get the best grades possible, and I succeeded. I got all A's and I took the hard classes and all that stuff. And then in college, I tried to be a little bit more lenient with myself. But if I'm being honest, I still worked really hard to get good grades. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. You should work hard. You should try to learn. But if you make grades your only goal in college, you're not going to be getting what you're supposed to out of college. And yes, there's social stuff, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ultimate goal of college, in my opinion, should be getting you in a situation where you can then get a job and enter the workforce. And hopefully do something that you don't hate. So, if you spend all your time just focusing on getting grades, then you're going to end up in a position like I did, where you got the good grades, and then before you know it, you spend all your time focusing on grades. Before you know it, college is over, and you're like, shit, what now? And I think what you're going to realize at that point is that you should have spent some more time on other stuff. So what is that other stuff? Networking. And when I was in college, I knew about networking, but it had a disgusting idea to me because I thought of it as, you're just using people. You're pretending to be their friend so that you can gain an advantage. And I held that view for a while, and recently I stopped seeing it that way, though. And here's how I think about it now. Everybody wants to have money and be able to afford living and food and shelter and all that stuff. So what is networking? What's networking's role? Networking is like saying, hey, I know you and you know me, and I'm acknowledging, I'm showing you, hey, I'm a normal, nice person. I'm not crazy. You're a normal and nice person. So if there's ever a situation where if there's ever a situation where you need help getting a job, I can try to help you. Similarly, if I ever need help getting a job, I hope that you'll help me. And that's what really put a shift in my head. It's that it's that networking it's not as selfish as I thought it was, and it's more complicated. Networking is like making a pact with someone saying, yo, I've got your back, you've got mine. We don't know each other that well, but if you ever need a hand, I'll try to help you, and I hope that I can count on you to do the same for me. And you might think, well, that's not true, because when I'm networking, I have nothing to offer. And meanwhile, I'm trying to get help from all these people that already do have experience and stuff to offer. But that's not going to last forever. And someday, in the future, you might be in a position where you're in a good spot, you have a good job, and they don't have a good job. And then they can come to you for help. So networking is really just making this union with other people to say, hey, it's tough out there, but I know you're a good person. I'm a good person. Or maybe not even a good person, but I know that you're not crazy. And you know that I'm not crazy. So we've got each other's backs. And hopefully we can help each other out. So that's the first thing. Second thing, which is a little more straightforward, but it's super important to, at least I think it's super important to try and get an internship if you can, during your college years. So ideally it'd be great if you can get two, but if not two, try to get one, your summer of junior year going into senior year. And by the way, that doesn't mean apply for it during the summer. That means apply for it before the summer of junior year. And try to square that away, because an internship is a huge leg up when trying to get a job. So yeah, that's something important to think about. So the reason that I'm bringing all this up is because I worked very hard in my classes. I worked hard on everything. And I remember there was one class where we had a project which was like half of our grade. And I remember I worked insanely hard on it, and I was actually proud of what I created. And then I saw this other person who didn't work hard. They treated the class as kind of a joke, and they made a crappy project, and it was a piece of crap, and they knew it, and the teacher knew it, but it was whatever. And they passed the class. They did well enough to pass. And I remember being kind of ticked at this person, which wasn't really fair of me, but at the time it's how I felt. And I was like, how come you can, I worked so hard and you just didn't do anything? And then cut to after college, I find out that this same person, this person who was a slacker in my mind, is working at Google, one of the best companies ever. And I was like, wow, look at that. And then it dawned on me, like, this person was just playing the game better than I was. It wasn't that he was a slacker. It's that he wasn't wasting his time on stuff that wasn't really important. What he was doing with his time was networking, getting connected with people. He was very sociable, always making connections. And he was actually spending his time studying, practicing for interviews, practicing, because with coding, you need to study for coding interviews, and he was practicing for those interviews and networking so that he got a chance to interview at Google. And meanwhile, there I am thinking he's a slacker. He's not a slacker. He was focused on what mattered, which is actually getting a job from college. And I don't know why, but maybe I just didn't pay enough attention, but it felt like I was duped, because it felt like all my professors were saying, it felt like all they talked about for the most part was, take my class seriously, study for it, you need to do this, this, and this to do well in my class. And that's not what matters. Like, yes, you should be learning. Absolutely, you should be learning, and you should be getting stuff out of the classes. But it's more important that you get yourself situated to be able to get a good job after college. And I don't know why I call them teachers, I think, these professors, I don't know why the professors and the whole institution isn't emphasizing that. It actually pisses me off. Like, the other thing is, like, this is going to sound stupid, but I didn't realize how important it was to get an internship. I really didn't. Oh no. I didn't realize how important it was to get an internship. And so I didn't get one during college. Eventually I tried, but I was one of the people that tried too late, like applied way too late and didn't get one, because I just didn't know that that's something really important. Nobody had ever told me, and I didn't have the forethought to realize it. So if you're in college right now, or gonna be in college soon, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the big picture, which is not doing well in your classes, although that can be good. Oh, that's the other thing. Some jobs that you apply to will ask for your resume, and they'll say, we only accept resumes of 3.5 or higher or whatever. Okay, that's true. But there's also a ton of jobs, and I mean a ton, and I would say the vast majority, that just don't even care. They don't ask for your GPA, and they don't care about it. Okay? So I would say do well. Do well. Don't slack off. Do well in your classes. But man, don't spend all of your time thinking about your grades, and I have this test coming. I need to. I'm at an 89 right now. If I need to do well in this so I can go from B to an A. Like, man, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. I promise. I promise you. Maybe it'll matter to you, I guess, but it's not gonna matter to anyone else, and it's not gonna matter in terms of what of getting a job. Oh, fell. So is my point clear here? It's use college as a tool. Oh, and that's the other thing. Your college probably has like career resources, a career center, and it has job fairs. Oh my gosh. Don't ignore the job fairs, okay? Do not ignore them. And not only that, this is something that's important to me. With my college, there were job fairs, and I wouldn't find out they were happening until the day of. So I don't know if this is true for every college, but for mine, it just it just didn't feel like it was well advertised when we had events going on that were important. So do your research. Go to your school's website, find out when the events are, find out when the job fairs are, and plan to go to them, because oh my gosh, having that connection that you've actually talked to someone and they know who you are, you're going to thank yourself. I made a lot of mistakes, and it's brutal. It's brutal cold applying to jobs. It's absolutely brutal. Just rejection after rejection after rejection. No response. So I hope you take my advice to heart. Learn from the mistakes I've made. Yep. Peace out.